Get your MonsterVerse figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Kaiju, Turtles, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey, Collector Steven here, and welcome to another Diet Figure Fight where, as you saw in the title, we're going to be very straightforward here with the title. It is going to be a MonsterVerse SH MonsterArts Spitfire Godzilla Diet Figure Fight. Why? Because this isn't really it qualifies for a normal figure fight, so we're doing something a little bit different. If you don't know what a diet figure fight is, basically doesn't meet the criteria for a normal figure fight. But some comparison some folks have asked for, and I think we can still do that. Now, if you're watching this video, that probably means that there was an ultimate display video for a monkey that went up. Now, with that being said, there have been some folks who have asked, speaking of diet figure fight, let me get him to stand, are we going to see a replay or a rematch for a diet figure fight for Kong? The short answer is no. Long answer is there are so many different Kong figures on the market at this point. We have two SH MonsterArts. We have two Mezco. We have, what is it now? 4 NECA? Yeah, no. At this point, you can figure out which one you like the most, and you can go from there. I'm going to keep that video up just for prosperity, channel preservation, and I think that that is kind of over-encompassing enough. But for the record, which one do I prefer the most? This one. Okay, now that that is out of the way, we're going to go on to the next small, quick point of business. This is an SH MonsterArts MonsterVerse Spitfire diet figure fight, so that means even though there will be a representation for NECA coming up in just a little bit, he's not going to be in this one, aside from just now. On that note, when you find his foot, let me know. Okay, so let's get on to the actual video here. So what do we have in store for us today? Well, as you can see here, we have the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2014 Spitfire version, which that is where Spitfire name comes from. Godzilla 2019 poster color version, and Godzilla 2021. I think it's Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. I think that's the name of it. It's really long, but Godzilla 2021. Now, this is basically going to be a repaint of this, which is going to be a repaint of the vanilla Godzilla 2019, so that's pretty cool. But first and foremost, what I want to kind of just do is get a size comparison out of the way so this way you can see approximately how big they are. They're effectively going to be all the same size. That one's a bit thicker than the other two, and that one's going to be a little more lean, but effectively they're going to be the same size. This one's got a little bit of an issue when we take a look at the articulation section where his thighs don't want to go as close together as these two can. Maybe if we just do that a little bit, see that? We can't really get that out of this guy there. So you can kind of see for size comparison, his tail's really long, so it's kind of overlapping. But what I also wanted to do is just get a couple of MonsterVerse figures in here. We'll get Kong, and then because it is, for better or worse, depending on your preference, Mothra. NECA Mothra. All right, so that's going to be the size comparison here. Effectively, they're all going to tie. Now, at this point, I'd also like to talk about price. So at MSRP, that, I think it was like $150 with the Blu-ray and everything else thrown in. So we can't really put a price tag on that except for it's going to be the most expensive. The Spitfire and the 2021 Godzilla figures, those are going to be about $70 at MSRP. But here's the problem. That is significantly high in the aftermarket, LOL, and that one is already starting to reach aftermarket prices. I'm seeing sold listings for way too much, but you can find him for MSRP at the time of recording, July 5th, 2021. So, you can. Not for much longer. So with that being said, these two are going to tie. That one, no, that's going to be the most expensive. And for what it's worth, that one did have orders available to the US. It did. The order window was very small, though, for the record. now that we've got size comparison and price out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about accessories, because I think this is going to be another easy one to sort of talk about here. So we'll go ahead and move our MonsterVerse friends out of the way, and we'll kind of just, talk about what you would expect. So, all right. So Godzilla versus Kong 2021. What does he come with? Extra hands, and as a matter of fact, they are essentially the hands all the other MonsterVerse Godzillas come with. I'm not going to swap them out because you know what they look like. So one could actually argue the hands that he comes with out of the box, as I move my phone over to the side in an extremely professional manner, those are the accessories. Now, with that being said, these can be swapped out to other Godzillas. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and just real quick do that with our Spitfire friend here. I'm going to be referring to this one as Spitfire just because that's its official name. So that's cool. Like I said, this guy's got a long tail. So you can get more expressiveness. Is that the term? You can make your other MonsterVerse Godzillas more expressive, especially the ones that don't have fancy colors associated with them for the main body. Okay, so but other than that, that's all this Godzilla is going to come with. Now, remember when I talked about earlier, I was going to bring the NECA in a little bit. Well, what I didn't talk about in the review for this one is, can you use the NECA version 2 beam with this one? And you actually kind of can. Kinda. I was able to do it earlier. It can kind of sit in the mouth. Look at that. That's pretty neat. So I'm glad that there were folks who asked me about that. So if you ever have a question, please ask if I did not cover it. Please watch the video first. Maybe I did cover it. So of course, we do have the splash effect, which is cool, but it doesn't really, attach onto the beam. You got to do this. Or put it up against a kaiju or whatever he's targeting. But yes, this beam can actually work. It can get supported in the mouth. I would not do this for long stretches of time just because the tongue is in the mouth and I don't know how much weight it's putting on the tongue and if that may snap off. But that's not an official accessory. This is just sort of an amendment to my review. Okay, now, poster color version. Effectively, this can recreate the poster because it is boxed away. I'll go ahead and throw up a picture here from my review. It actually does come with a poster backdrop that you can use to recreate the poster. It does come with a beam effect and a replaceable lower jaw, which is cool, but the issue with that is that sometimes the jaw will drop. And I've demonstrated that plenty of times in the review. I just don't want to swap out the jaw just because I don't want to not apply heat just because I don't want to break it. So just being careful here when we're live. So yeah, it's good. It's very cool. Very nice alternative to just using a stand. So it's pretty fun. So ultimately for the poster color version, this is really neat because we get a nice blue beam. This actually does not color match with the Godzilla versus Kong one. This is a bit more green in the blue. So you're not really going to want to use this particular beam to go with that Godzilla. So if you do get any of the 2019 Godzillas that come with a beam, this one, while it does work with that one, we'll actually see something pretty cool at the end. It doesn't quite color match perfectly. So we'll go ahead and put this one back over here in the middle. And then we went from the one who loses to the one who wins, surprisingly. So the reason why I was able to pop off the hand on this one, super easy, is because you're actually supposed to do that. It comes with a severed Muto head. Which, by the way, Bandai, whenever you feel like giving us the rest of the figure, please do so. So this is really cool. So we can recreate the ending roaring scene to Godzilla 2014, which is awesome. And we get the original MonsterVerse Godzilla beam. Very cool. This beam actually color matches rather well with the Godzilla vs. Kong one. It also comes with a neat Godzilla display base and a support stand. Now, unfortunately, This Godzilla doesn't really look all the way up to recreate sort of that infamous shooting up into the sky scene. However, we can do that. So in terms of accessories, I mean, yes, the 2019 Godzillas do come with the jaw replacement, but they don't actually come with stands. So the jaw replacement part, I personally could take it or leave it, but for this one, you can put Godzilla in all sorts of poses. You're not going to stress any joints except for the arm, which you can replace, and it looks good. So ultimately for accessories, we get something that's really cool. I never expected this to come from Tamashii Nations in any way. This is really neat. It's very expressive. We get a beam and we get a stand. For accessories, Spitfire wins here. So overall, this one's in the lead. Now let's talk about articulation. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is where the fun comes in. Because effectively, they're all the same, except this one's a bit more limited. Because as I showed you before, this one can't look all the way up, but it can twist and turn from side to side, rock the head around. You know basically what we're getting here, right? Hinge elbows, a couple of ball joints in the torso. This one can really crouch down though, as we can see here. Twist and turn. Because of the way the sculpt is at the thighs and they meet in here, they collide in with each other. So can't really get straight up or all the way in, but we do have hinge knees with ball joints, inaccurate feet, let's say la vie, and then we have plenty of ball joints in the tail, which unlike the original 2014 release, it's much stronger. So if you're looking for what is the best 2014 MonsterArts, it's going to be this one. This one is significantly better for tail movement. Nothing really pops off on mine, which is good. All right, articulation for 2019. Up, all the way. If it gets caught, you can't put it down. Jaw opens and closes on a ball joint. Twist and turn. Can't really arch down all the way with the torso joints, but we can rock from side to side, which is fine. But with the neck joints as well, we can get that. So that's good. Ball jointed shoulders, just like on 2014, which are placed better than on 2014. So we get a little bit better movement. Like on 2014, elbow hinges. This one, little squeaky. Swivel hinge wrists, just like on 2014. Ball jointed thighs, like on 2014. Same joints for the knees. Ankles as well. These joints are a little bit tighter and a little more stiff, but the engineering is effectively the same with better tail. So this guy's a little stiff, so it's not the best showcase for the 2019 engineering. So that's a little detrimental. Here, as I bump the camera, this one is a little better because we get better crunch down. As you can see there, much better than 2019, with 2019's ability to look up. Shoulders are a little better, so this way we can rotate in and out more. Easy to move elbow hinges, which is very good. Swivel hinge wrists with ball joints where the hands plug in. You already saw the torso move, which is great. Thighs are good with ball joints. Same knees. Ball joints down here in the lower portion of the leg. And the tail moves swimmingly, except for the part on mine that likes to pop off. So aside from the part that likes to pop off, I would say least very close tie with best. So this one is going to be better, followed slightly by that one and then that one. And the only reason why this one isn't going to win is just because of the stiffness of some of the joints, because of the plastic that is used. Now, sort of the final round, how they all look. This one's a toughie. This one's a toughie. So let's take a quick look at the official named Spitfire. "2014 was unfortunately plagued with eye issues. I go for all of them, including this one here. And we don't have nicely painted teeth, which unfortunately is going to continue on for the rest of the MonsterVerse figures. But what's interesting is even if this figure may be inaccurate, for several reasons, like the paint scheme and sculpt, it's not accurate to the movie, what we do have presented here is rather interesting. Likewise, the Muto head is not quite accurate either, but it still looks pretty good. You can see we do have the elephant feet kind of, sort of really changed up from what we do have in the movie, but it still looks very good. For the dorsal plates, the way they were able to achieve the blue here is they used translucent plastic and a bit of paint. Now, this was their attempt to recreate when Godzilla charges up and fires. However, the issue here is that it really isn't accurate to the movie, because as we will see, they did eventually nail the technique down, but we're supposed to get a little bit of blue in between the cracks of the dorsal plates. Not completely blue, with just a little bit of the charcoal gray or black. So, it is what it is. Also, something of note, over time, we have gotten a little bit of greening, I don't know, effect to the translucent plastic here. This guy has been in and out of his box over the years since I've gotten him, and that is unfortunately the name of the game. So, not fun. And you can really actually, right here, that's a good example. You see we've got a little bit of green here, but nothing but blue here. So that is unfortunate there. So not necessarily the weakest of the group. We'll talk about that in a second, but it is what it is. We'll go ahead on over to the poster color version. Now, the poster color version is not necessarily supposed to be a representation of when Godzilla is firing up and charging in the movie. He's supposed to look like the poster. So we are going to have, obviously, inaccuracies for when he is supercharged and getting ready to take on King Ghidorah. But with that being said, this is a fantastic take on when Godzilla is supposed to be firing his beam. We have completely metallically blued out eyes, which look really, really good. We do have dorsal plates, which once again are inaccurate, but still look very nicely done if this were to be the take that they used in the movie for Godzilla, because we do have different shades of blue, which start rather dark and then move on up to a lighter shade of blue, and then to the normal charcoal gray or black tips for the dorsal plates, which are found all the way throughout the fully translucent blue tip of the tail. Now, they did utilize completely translucent plastic for this figure, so if you're a fan of unique lighting techniques, this is a good one for you. Teeth actually don't look too bad on this release, but unfortunately, all the MonsterVerse Godzilla figures do suffer from that. Maybe he could use a little bit more paint. You could clearly see the use of translucent plastic in areas like the arms, especially when it meets up here at the shoulders, but such is life, and it does look very, very good where it looks great. Now, for the last one, we do have Godzilla 2021. And this one is a bit difficult, because they did deliver pretty much so on what the prototype showed. Personally, I'm fine with the head sculpt. I don't think it's as terrible as some folks want to say. But with that being said, I have seen a few not so great ones. But what I am kind of seeing consistently across the board would be the blue paint for the mouth. It doesn't really look all that great when it bleeds over into the gums and over into effectively the lips. But when it doesn't, it looks very good. So the blue mouth, hey, that's what we saw in the prototype. Now, I talked about the dorsal plates earlier. While I do think that they should have utilized a different color blue to be less green, this is how Godzilla's dorsal plates, at least for this scale, look in the movies, in the MonsterVerse. This is really good. This is a fantastic and nicely done attempt at those dorsal plates. I think this is about the best that Bandai could do, so kudos to them. So for that purpose, this Godzilla looks amazing. We do have nice paint, and what is effectively his plastron. Very, very good. I mean, it's not, it's a part of a turtle, but it is what it is. We can see the sculpted detail. Minimal paint for his claws and his toes. But otherwise, that's going to be about it for the paint application. Now, what I will say is let's go ahead and bring in the 2019 Godzilla. And bring him in real close so this way you can see. And this will be rather easy to see. Some folks are saying that it's mold degradation here. I'm not inclined to believe that as I'm setting this up. Reason being is you can see clearly different sculpting right here at the bridge of the nose, where it looks like here it's fuller and here it's a bit more narrow. And you can see flash marks here indicating where it was removed from the mold or where there was excess plastic, where that's not present here. So I'm thinking that this head, which is also utilized for the event exclusive one, we'll talk about that in a second, and Burning Godzilla. So with that being said, I think this was actually a new sculpt, or they recasted from this because maybe the head got damaged in the factory. Dunno, but that is what it is. So in terms of looks, if you are looking for accuracy, who do you go with? Who do you pick? Who do you choose? That one. Controversial, I know, but it's going to be the most accurate. The best looking one, that one. It's going to be the best looking one. Ultimately, what do we have? So for scale, we pretty much have a tie. For price, these two tie at MSRP. Aftermarket, have fun. Okay, so we have a tie. For accessories, Spitfire 2014. Articulation, Godzilla vs. Kong. Oh, this is all just not very. This is all just not very good because we pretty much have a tie, don't we? Don't we? Two ties, accessories, articulation. I guess you might say accuracy, but best overall. But even then, the rules of the figure fight say which one looks best overall. So I'm going to leave it up to an overall tie. But my personal favorite's that one. That's the one I like the most. So real quick, I talked about this guy. The event exclusive color edition. Why was this one not mentioned? Because it's all blue. That's pretty much it. Kind of a weird thing to say, but because it's all blue, I don't know if this would be the figure somebody wants to get to represent the Spitfire MonsterVerse Godzilla. I think this would be a neat addition, especially because of the beam. If you don't have a beam, I don't know. I just don't think that this would be the fit for you. And otherwise, 4 figures, nah. Let's just keep it to 3. Because let me tell you, the King of the Monsters figure fight between the MonsterArts and the NECA, that was something to orchestrate. Now, with that being said, ultimately, what are you looking to do? Well, get a few of these, a couple, because there's no other way you're going to be able to recreate this scene here if you just get one. Okay? So it's never bad to have more than one because you can always have fun with part swapping, which is not official, by the way, but if you know what you're doing, you can have fun with it. All right, so that's about going to wrap it up. So officially, technically, we have more points for the Godzilla vs. Kong one, but overall, realistically speaking, it's a tie with my personal favorite being the poster color. So thank you so much for watching. These videos are a bit experimental, and I really do like to hear your feedback. Please drop in the comments below which your favorite one is. Which one are you looking to hunt down? If you only had to pick one, what would you get? please, anything you have to say, I'd love to hear it. And of course, thank you so much to the patrons because realistically speaking, as I said, these videos are definitely experimental, and without having your support, I don't know how these videos are going to do in the algorithm, and this is one way to sort of guarantee that there is going to be goodness coming to the channel. And of course, here's going to be the end card, so this way you can take a look at some other things in the meantime while I get the next video up, including maybe a review for one of these figures. Do you want to see more re-reviews? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.